We chew the fat and give our gut reactions on all things pop culture, film, TV and theatre. We talk to legends in the creative industry and those on the rise. We game old school. We support independent creatives. Got a project? Tell us about it. Get in touch. We do all of this, and a whole lot more. Like, subscribe, get involved. Join Lance Steen, Anthony Nielsen, and the Outcasts Creative.
Good evening. We will be missing two of our regular panelists on our weekly review show today because they are in Japan. So, nevertheless, I do have my regular co-host, Stupenzolicious, with me. Fantastic, dude. All the way from Texas.
Girl from karaoke, I know, she's telling me, oh, me and my husband, we're going on a vacation. And I was like, let me guess, you're going to Japan? And she's like, yeah, how'd you know? It was like, because you got like Hello Kitty and anime crap everywhere. It's like a specific type of people that go like, hi, I'm going to Japan for vacation. It's like, okay, you're either going there for, education or business, but there's a good chance you're going there because you're a giant weeb.
By giant weeb, you mean someone who's into
anime fan.
Anime.
I mean, if I went to Japan, I would definitely go for the food and the subservient women, but also Godzilla. I would go check out the Godzilla museum and all that stuff. That's fun. I love Godzilla.
Well,
so I get it.
I'm personally not into subservient women, but whatever floats your boat, sir.
I will bring back a Japanese bride, and she'll follow me around and just that'd be fun.
I want someone who's passionate and creative and strong-minded and all that kind of thing. It's a fiery mix, but it's worth it.
You don't want them too smart because then they'll wise up and leave. Just kidding.
Thanks, man. Cheers. Well, on that bombshell, to begin the show, we're going to be covering quite a few topics tonight. We're going to be talking about Mortal Kombat. We're going to be talking about Legends, which has dropped on Netflix, which is causing quite the stir. We're going to be talking about Remarkable Creatures, which is also on Netflix, which is a great little film that I didn't know very Remarkably Bright Creatures. Sorry to use the full title, which most of my panel I think have seen. We are going to be joined by Northern Bastard shortly. He's coming in a bit later. I'll also talk about The Boys. Briefly, there's also a film that dropped this week called All in Good Time, which I directed. If you watched it, thank you very much for supporting that. It is currently doing pretty well. I mean, several hundred people have watched it on my channel, but several thousand of you have watched it elsewhere on a channel that's got more subscribers than mine, of course. But so really looking forward to seeing that. Also with me on the panel tonight, coming in at warp factor 9.6, it's Admiral Teague, slingshotting around the sun. How are you, sir?
Hello, sirs and madams. It's good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
No, always a pleasure, sir. Actually, I've got a bit of a surprise for you later. Remind me to mention it. And
I'll write it down.
I'll make sure I get onto it.
Remind Lance.
Yeah, remind Lance to talk about.
I'm making a post-it note now. Surprise incoming later. Thank you.
Okay, now I haven't seen the new Mortal Wombat. Dun, 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 dun. I always remember that song.
Mortal Kombat, as we called it.
We always used to shout out Mortal Wombat. That was because that was like that song from the Paul Thomas Anderson version, was it?
Yeah. Paul W.S. Anderson. Paul Thomas Anderson.
There's a real debate about which Anderson is which. Their names are real close. They became active at the exact same time. Their movies aren't that different. And one of them goes to do Resident Evil, and then there's the other guy. And
it's funny because Paul Anderson, he used to be called Paul Anderson, and then like it's for Mortal Kombat and Event Horizon, it was Paul Anderson.
Right.
But then Paul Thomas Anderson got real big same time, so that's when he started going by Paul W.S. Anderson to differentiate him more.
I think they had Directors Guild conflict. It's like, I don't think it's rivalrous. I think they're like, professionally, you must distinguish yourselves, and they're like, all right. They may even have had a phone call. We don't know.
Yeah, Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton changed his name to Keaton because his real name is Michael Douglas, and Michael Douglas is already an actor, so he had to change his name.
Yeah, well,
I can see the problem there. Yeah,
I too can see that problem. Anyway, Enzo, you have seen Mortal Kombat 2026 Part 2.
Yeah. Did you see it, Teague?
I didn't see it, but I mean, to me, when I think Mortal Kombat, I can only think of the great Christopher Lambert in the first one.
Right.
There can be only one, and of course, that's the greatest video game movie of all time. But tell me about this one. I'm interested.
Don't forget James Remar was recast as Raiden in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I love in the first movie when Christopher Lambert is like telling Sonya, Liu Kang, and Johnny Cage that the world is going to end if they don't do what they're supposed to, and he's like, the fate of billions will depend on you.
Shall we call that a nuanced performance where he hits the finer tones of villainy without overdoing it, like only to be matched by Profion in Dungeons and Dragons? These are the greatest two performances of villains of all time.
Yes.
I'm hinting sarcasm in the voice there for anyone who's...
Yes.
Yeah. But honestly, I do like the first Mortal Kombat movie from '95 best out of all the movies because I agree with Aaron.
Yes.
I agree with Aaron that, both Mortal Kombat's the new ones. I did not like the last one. And the last one was interesting because it came out 2021, like at the end of like pandemic. It was like one of those, it was interesting because it came out on HBO Max and it also came out in the theaters. It was one of the first big movies back at theaters post-quarantine. So that was what was really weird about it. And I think that suffered. But I remember having this big, long live stream on Facebook back in those days and talking about the movie and the show and the series in great detail. And I remember the first movie had a lot of problems. And I knew that because of the creative choices they did with the last movie, the whatever sequel they would do would inevitably have more compounding problems in terms of like lore. And it's funny how I listened to that stream again, how much I predicted would happen in this next movie. But yes, this movie was better, but I still did not like it. And it's very interesting when I'm, seeing people, I don't know. It's really weird when I see the Twitter sphere say, hey, these movies are bad, and we all are going to collectively hate on this movie. Like we're all gonna collectively hate on, like the Odyssey. Everyone's just already said it's an abysmal failure already. All right, fine. But then they'll sweep for Mortal Kombat 2, which is hilarious because I'm not big on the whole. I don't care for girl bosses and all that stuff as much as most people, but I definitely am not as. I see some people like really complain about it all the time when it's not really a girl boss situation. This movie does totally do that. It ends on this massive girl boss thing. I don't really want to spoil a whole lot, but the movie is, bloody, and it's got some accurate costumes, I guess. And but the big problems with the movie is the music. My biggest problem was the music. It was trite and annoying, and it just kept it kept going for this epic vibe. The movie wants to be both really epic and grandeur like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, and then it also wants to be MCU Joss Whedon style humor, and it just keeps flip-flopping. It wants to be taken really seriously and also be campy at the same time, and it needs to lean heavier in one direction. And now the previous movies were campy, and I think what they should have done with these movies is gone more into the horror aspect of it. I really think if this movie was like, because the slogan for all the Mortal Kombat stuff is like, prepare yourself. Nothing can prepare you. Be prepared. Imagine if people walked out of, I understand what you mean, Darth Plato. Yeah. Emily Wilson. I get it. Feminism. All right. I'll see the movie and I'll make up my own mind. But anyway, as far as Mortal Kombat, like if this was more like, people should have been walking out of these movies like, oh my God, Mortal Kombat was really scary and violent, and I don't recommend it for kids. I think that would have been more enticing. These movies, the lore, the more I think you like the games, the less you're going to like these movies, I think. And Carl Urban is Johnny Cage. They did exactly what I said they'd do. Cole from the last movie, Nobody knows about him. Nobody cares about him. So they quickly got rid of him. But then they just replaced it with Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage is the new main character, fish out of water. It's like Big Trouble in Little China, you know. Liu Kang's the main character, but Johnny Cage, he's the protagonist that the audience kind of relates to because he's the one that's having everything explained to him. But we already did this last movie with Cole. He had everything explained to him, and he's, you know, some relative of Scorpion that was supposed to bring balance to the tournament or whatever, and none of that ended up being true for some reason. And, you know, Shao Kahn was a big highlight of the movie, but yeah, CGI everything CGI, all the blood and violence lacked weight or any kind of, you know, permanence. It all just felt very cartoonish and very much like Marvel. Endgame Infinity War. Like, it doesn't matter who dies because they kind of make it known that you can just bring anyone back, necromancy and stuff, which, you know, makes sense, but it kind of just, you know, ruins the stakes a little. And also, Katana, Jade, I don't think they're unattractive actresses, but man, I just want, these characters need to be way sexier or dressed sexier. I don't know. It's part of the kink. It's part of the, it makes it more sadistic. Like these ninjas are dressed up like hot, you know, cleavage, you know, oily skin, you know, body lotion. It's just interesting.
Well, I'm not getting turned on by this costume. It has to be said.
I actually said I did like Baraka's makeup / CG mouth. Usually, it's very interesting how you're going to get a mouth like this to enunciate words, you know, because he doesn't have lips. So usually it looks pretty cartoonish, but I think they did pretty well here. Liu Kang has considerably, like, he did a bunch of steroids and plastic surgery since we last saw him, so he looks distractingly different and weird. They had to shoehorn, just like in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, like, we need Scorpion and Sub-Zero to show up contractually, so they just kind of show up and fight, and then they leave, and we never see them again. It's very stupid. They go to Netherrealm, this, like, basically hell. We got to find this magic amulet. And, you know, it's like, how are we ever going to find the amulet? Oh, there it is. It's right there. Yeah, it's just so stupid. Cole was funny because, you know, in the first movie, he has 50 minutes of screen time. And in this one, he has 3 minutes of screen time. See, look at him. Look at his Botox face. He had a bunch of work done. Liu Kang. He looks he's turning into that Giga Chad meme. It's hilarious. He actually, there's a more recent picture of him like after shooting the movie, and he looks like Michael Jackson, like on steroids now. It's weird. As far as the movie itself, at least there was actual Mortal Kombat in this one. The last one had no actual fighting tournament. The last one was basically just assassination missions before the tournament starts. This one, the tournament starts, but it's rushed and stupid. And yeah, there's a lot of fights in it. There's a lot of action, but the fights feel, I don't know, I feel like they could have sped them up a little bit or something. I also don't like the idea that all these fights take like 5 to 10 minutes long. I think typically, like, if you had two dudes like fighting each other to the death with like swords, it'd be cooler if these fights like lasted seconds, you know? Like, swing, miss, swing, chop off the dude's arm. Swing, chop off his head. It's over. Like, and yeah, Katana, I mean, nothing wrong with her. Jade, everyone hates this actress because she's in some Naughty Dog games or whatever. She's fine.
What's Naughty Dog games? Explain.
She's in, this character was in Last of Us 2. She was in some space game. I don't know. People don't like her because she's bald and she's like woke. I don't know. I don't mind Jade having a bald head in this.
I think she's got a good look for. I would say
she's hot.
This look works for this show.
She's hot. And yeah, the whole thing about Jade is like, who cares as long as she wears green and has a fucking stick she hits you with. I mean, that's Jade. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Johnny Cage, he's fine. He's a little too old. I also don't like how Johnny Cage is washed up. He's a washed up celebrity in this.
Right.
I definitely would prefer, I like in the first movie where he's like a celebrity and he's like, hey, here's my suitcase and where are my heated towels? And, you know, where's the caviar? You know, I like that attitude better. yeah, this movie, Mortal Kombat 2, it kind of does go into hardcore girl boss stuff at the end. It's kind of like Street Fighter, the movie. Guile's the main character for some reason, when everyone knows Ryu's the main character of the games. Well, the last movie we made Cole the main character. This time we're making Johnny Cage the main character, I guess. But Johnny Cage is like an idiot, and he's like, not really that useful. Liu Kang is supposed to be the hero. He's supposed to be a human Shaolin monk from China, and he beats Goro. And then against all odds, he beats Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn also. I mean, it's hardcore. That doesn't happen in this movie or the last movie. He basically, I don't want to spoil it. But it was Kitana all along. Kitana's the hero. So I had a problem with that. And it's interesting how a lot of people, like I said, who cry about girl bosses all the time about everything, they are all saying, this movie is great. Yes, I understand Johnny Cage equals Jack Burton. The other problem this movie had is actually mentioning Big Trouble in Little China by name. I thought that was a problem. Yeah, because it's like... Yeah, because Johnny Cage meets Raiden in a parking garage, and he's like, oh, yeah, Big Trouble in Little China. I love that movie. That's fun. It's a fun little, it's one of those Easter eggs. It's cool, but it just shows that they are self-aware. They are aware of the things this Mortal Kombat's like based on.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Why don't you just do what that does? Why don't you just do what that movie did? I don't know. Like I said, I had a real big problem with like the final act. Also, Sonya, like sometimes people get killed immediately. Or they have insane plot armor where they can get hit in the face with a giant hammer and thrown 15 feet away, and they'll be fine. They'll walk it off. And then there are other times where like people get, stabbed once and instantly die. It's a lot of that kind of stuff going on, depending on if they're important characters or not. And yes, Jack Burton is cooler than Johnny Cage. But overall, like, yeah, I don't know. What did I get? I don't even know what I would give the last movie. The last movie, maybe like a 5 out of 10. This one, maybe a 6. I mean, it's serviceable. I think if you don't follow the games, you'll be less annoyed than I was. But the movie does feel very corporate and hollow and manufactured. It doesn't feel like when you just watch the playthrough of the story mode of Mortal Kombat 9. Like, yeah, that's a stupid video game, and yet it feels more epic and grandiose than this one does. And that's, I think, a big problem with this movie is they're trying really hard to do the Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings kind of aesthetic, and it just comes off as try hard. And then on top of that, all the Earthworld, not even just Johnny Cage actually. Johnny Cage and Kano, they are this MCU style Joss Whedon humor, and that also gets Kano needs to shut the hell up, dude. Like, he was like, I get it, he was funny, he was a big highlight of the last movie. So they're like, okay, well, we heard you, we understand you like Kano, so we're bringing him back, and he's gonna talk nonstop, and it's really annoying. And also, Kano's supposed to be, a bad guy. I don't like this stuff. Kitana's supposed to be a bad guy who turns into a good guy because, she falls in love with Liu Kang. I think because Liu Kang's actor is a homosexual. I'm not trying to be funny or anything. I think he literally is. I think that's why they don't do the Kitana-Liu Kang romance in this, which is a missed opportunity for sure. And in this movie, Kitana's just been good all along. She's an undercover agent, and it's not as cool as a face turn,
Yeah, that I don't like the sound of that too much. Okay, so you're going to give this out of 10. Did you say a 5 or a 6?
Yeah, and the last one would get a 4 or a 5, whatever. Something mid, maybe less than mid.
I haven't seen either of these films. I've only seen, in fact, the Mortal Kombat movie that Paul Anderson did. I haven't seen. They did. I think they made a fairly weak sequel to that.
Oh, it's an awful sequel. It's not even weak. Yeah. It's one of the worst sequels of all time. so bad.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that either because I just heard it was so bad, so I didn't bother watching it. I just kind of feel like, you know, when now there's so much choice, this is just not something that I want to spend my time watching unless I have absolutely nothing else that I can watch and have access to nothing else. This really isn't gonna do anything for me, and I just think it's just going to be repetitive and boring. I mean, I haven't watched it, but that's why I'm not watching it.
How long is it?
It's about 2 hours. You know, I mean,
that's too long. Yeah,
it doesn't feel too long. It doesn't feel too long. Normally, I complain about the pacing in these movies. The pacing's pretty fast paced because it's very much like, okay, time for round 1 of the tournament. You guys go fight.
For you, Enzo, from Mysterious Anna Nielsen 1243. Can't think of who that might be. Morning, dudes. What do you think of the martial arts choreography? And also a quick hello to Jake Roman and also Grave 1383. I see you in the chat. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, like I said, the fighting felt slow, over choreographed, and the violence, all the CG violence, has just lacked any kind of weight.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan. So I was like, you know, I was not happy with what they were doing to the lore. Everyone loves how important the lore is. Well, this was my turn to be like, no, sir, I don't like it. Now, it's not like I hated it and it made me angry or anything. I'm just saying, like, I watched the movie and felt nothing. I watched the movie and did not really, I didn't feel any impact. In fact, the only time I actually laughed is when Johnny Cage is going to fight Baraka. That scene was probably like a highlight of the movie. But there's a part where he looks over to his buddies, Liu Kang, Jax, and Sonya. And Liu Kang and Sonya are like giving him this like, go fight him. And Jax does the sign of the cross. I thought that was like one of the only things that got me a chuckle. But yeah, as far as Mortal Kombat, I think the original Mortal Kombat with Paul Anderson, that was a really smart move because the original movie soundtrack was going to be all rock, and Paul Anderson, being a British raver kid like Lance, was like, no, let's do techno music. And I think that was such a huge influence on so many more action karate movies.
I mean, it really worked for that film, that music. It really worked.
Yeah. Techno. This movie has none of that.
Frenetic pace that you needed for the fight sequences. Northern, welcome to the stream. Good to have you on, mate. Have you seen this?
No, I did get a chance to watch the first Mortal Kombat reboots, but I hadn't a chance to watch this one yet.
Okay, well we'll leave it there then. I don't want to spend any more time on it. So Enzo,
yeah, it's just interesting because like this is one of the times where, you know, a lot of times everyone tells me, oh, this movie sucks, and I watch it and I'm like, I liked it. This is one of those times where a lot of people are saying this movie's great, it's fun, and I watched it and I'm like, this movie's stupid. Why
did this happen? Did Johnny Cage fight Barack Obama?
No.
Okay.
No, he didn't.
All right.
You mean Baraka?
I dig the pun though. Way to go. Keep them coming.
Yeah, I just addressed something that you said earlier, which is I know a lot of people are already whinging about the Odyssey, and I will admit I have my concerns, but I've always said on this channel, I'll never judge something until I've seen it. I've seen more trailers for Mandalorian now because you can't fucking avoid them because they're on absolutely everything, everywhere. Whenever you turn on like your phone, there's a trailer for Grogu and Mandalorian. And I'm trying not to see any more of the movie because I don't want to see any more of it. But I have to say, it actually looks quite good fun. I mean, whether it's a Star Wars or whether it's going to reignite Star Wars, I'll wait and see. But it looks all right. I don't think it looks awful. So I will go and see it at the cinema, and I'll give my verdict when I've seen it.
You know what, Lance? I just saw a couple of trailers myself, and to your point, while they didn't get me excited, and I wasn't like, you know, psyched up, like, oh, I got to see this. The one thing I'll say to your point is they were not for once anti-Star Wars or un-Star Wars like. They weren't the most serious Star Wars
or any of that stuff.
I didn't see it in the trailers I saw, but the thing was they didn't have anti-Star Wars elements of just like being a big downer.
Yeah.
being hugely depressing, absolute illogic rubbed in our faces. We were used to the stuff that wasn't good that we got. I'm not going to call it a strong trailer. This is not going to be anyone's favorite Star Wars movie by a long shot. They'll just say it's less bad than the last two. But yeah, it wasn't anti-Star Wars for once. You didn't get this creeping feeling that they were trying to undo it and rewrite it. They're going to roll with their Mandalorian thing. It probably will be like a season in a movie theater, and it might do minimal or no harm, and it'll make very little money.
I thought it was funny in the newest trailer. They showed a bunch of clips from the old movies, the originals and the prequels, and I'm just like, oh boy, Like that's what the trailers are like. Hey, remember this stuff? Go see Mandalorian. It's the same stuff. It's the same.
Put your strongest team on the field, right? Stupenzo. It's like, all right, we're screwed here. It's like, well, we're still the Yankees. We had Babe Ruth. It's like, geez, that's 50 years ago. Hey, we had Babe Ruth. It's like, all right, it's a valid point.
All right. Okay. Well, look, we're gonna move on. I want to talk about a new show that's just dropped on Netflix. Stars among other people Steve Coogan. It's also got one of my friends in it, Tom Burke. So big shout out to Tom. Huge fan of his. Near the top of my list of people I want to work with. Certainly British actors. He's very near the top. And this is the true story of a group of customs officers. So this is a separate department that they don't have the same powers as the police. They work separately from the police, and they're customs and borders officers. And their main job is to, at this time in the 90s, was to stop drugs and illegal firearms from coming into the United Kingdom. And in the late 80s, early 90s, we suddenly had a huge influx of heroin. And there was quite a number of high-profile heroin deaths, including middle-class and young working-class children. So because that ended up being splashed all over the newspapers, there was huge pressure put on the government for them to do something about this massive importation of heroin into the UK. So with almost no money and not a lot of backing, because Maggie's Thatcher's government was fighting to stay alive at the time, a small unit was set up, which is headed up by Steve Coogan's character. And they basically recruited a number of people into a unit. They didn't even know what they were going to be doing. And they went undercover and they infiltrated two of the largest importing gangs of heroin in the UK. So it is a true story. These events did really happen, and they've not been I've done digging on the real facts. It hasn't been massively over dramatized. So it's a very interesting watch. It's 6 episodes. I think each episode is 40 minutes. Solid cast, solid direction. Haven't quite always got the money to carry off all the period stuff, but it's pretty well done on the whole. Northern, I think you've seen most of it.
Yeah, I've seen half of it. I am looking forward to seeing the second half, because it was very intriguing as well, seeing these people who aren't exactly these highly trained special agents or anything. They're just ordinary people, just very humble, ordinary people who pretty much having to adapt to these very dangerous situations as well. And it does feel a little bit more realistic, while when you get the more high octane stuff like Bear Notice, where they're firing guns and that, this is not what you're going to get in this show. This is going to be a bit more Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, but with custom officers in a way.
Yeah, it's not a high octane action series, but it is. I mean, there is action, but there's not a lot of it. But it is extremely well done. It's well paced, and the acting and the script, and the dialogue, the tension is all there. So plenty for people to enjoy. It's the way it's shot. It's got a very epic feel as well. So it feels quite high production.
You do get engrossed in these characters as well. Just the fact that they know they're in a dangerous situation, and they're not exactly the kind of guys that can probably take on these very dangerous criminals. That most of they're doing is just trying to keep their cover and keeping as much distance as they can while still trying to find as much information as they can. It's
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I do love the intricacies. What's the term anyway? But I love how intricate it is as well when they try and when they do try and find out what information they do and how they have to adapt when something goes wrong. I always like that as well. I always love that when something goes wrong and they have to adapt and try and think their way around it.
Yeah. It is a set of very interesting circumstances that they find themselves in. I mean, Enzo did say to me, it's not a particularly interesting, it's not a particularly original title, but the title does work for the show. This actor, by the way, I've met in person more than once. Really nice guy, very talented, and he's really different, very, very different role for him in this particular show.
Very good. Yeah, he's you really want him to get these guys as well. You can really see he's being affected by all this. This guy as well. We're starting to see a little bit more about because he's kind of like the right hand man to a big time dealer, but at the same time, you see moments that show he is very human and
he's got a really interesting arc, isn't he? This character, really. Johnny Harris plays him. Another great jobbing actor who we've been seeing more and more of on British screens. I get the impression that he's going to be somebody who's often not going to be out of a job. I've heard nice things about him in terms of him being a great guy to work with, nice energy on set, one of those sort of positive people you like having around. So he's on my list of people to work with, and it would be good to see him in more things. But all of the lead cast as well are really strong in this. I think probably the character that's the most one-dimensional and a bit underwritten is the second from the right, who's kind of like the posh working class lass who gets stuck in the office.
She's kind of like the accountant. She's always finding out the financial stuff, something like that. And but it's Guy who's my main man.
Yeah.
Apart from Steve Coogan, Guy's the main man. I mean, he is the one who
Tom Burke
totally sells the fact that he's a ruthless criminal, even though he's never done that kind of thing. He's just a kid. He used to be a bit of a wild kid in his day, and that's it, though. But he's using it to his advantage.
Yeah. I like that log line, undercover and underrated. Well, we'll move on because no one else has seen it. What would you give it out of 10?
So far, I'll give it a good 7 out of 10. I mean, it's because it is very gripping, very compelling, and the straight white guys are not made to look like idiots for their more diverse female counterparts.
Absolutely,
it's really good.
It's a very level playing field in this.
Yeah,
everybody. There's no shaming in terms of that sort of stuff going on.
Steve Coogan is very, very underrated in this as well because he's
good.
We're so used to seeing him play like these goofy losers, but he kind of shows a little bit more sincerity here, and he's quite a ballsy character in this as well.
Yeah, his performance is quite contained and quite restrained. It shows, Coogan's got, I think, a bigger range than people give him credit for. His character's not dissimilar to the character he played in the Stephen Lawrence sort of sequel movie that they made where they were going after the rest of the guys, which incidentally, if people haven't seen, is very good and available on itv.com. I'll give it a solid 8. Really captivating, really well done. Doesn't quite have the budget to compete with the big American shows that cover a similar vernacular, but nevertheless, this is a really, really competent, well-made drama, and it's top-end television. It is worth your time, and if you like true story crime, it's well worth your time. I'll mention another one really briefly that I've only just began to watch the first episode of, but there's a new drama series from Peacock. It's 8 episodes, and it's about the serial killer John Wayne Gacy. It's available on itv.com in the UK, I guess Peacock in the US, and it's shot a bit like the last one that they did, about the guy who was chopping up body parts and putting them in the fridge. What was that guy called? American serial killer, lived in that horrible flat, had the
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer, thank you. So tonally, it's very similar to Dahmer. Not quite as dark as Dahmer, but not far off. And each episode is named after a different victim or victims of John Wayne Gacy. But I've seen the first. I think I've seen about 40 minutes of the first episode, and I can already tell that this show is pretty top quality. So that's another true crime to look out for that I'll properly review next week. If anybody else on the panel wants to check it out, then we can talk about it together next week. Okay, let us move on. Also dropping on Netflix this week was a really great film that's apparently it's based on a best-selling book. I've not seen the book, even though I am someone who pops into bookshops and looks at what's on the shelf, particularly new fiction that's selling well. Remarkably Bright Creatures stars Lewis Pullman, who's the son of Bill Pullman, and the great legend herself, Sally Field. It's a family drama, I guess is the best way to describe it, except it has the unique, and this is not really a big spoiler because you're going to learn this in the first 30 seconds. The main narrator and the main perspective of this story is all told from the point of view of the octopus. And apparently the voice of the octopus is done by the actor who played Dr. Octopus, which is quite funny.
Alfred Molina.
Yeah, Alfred Molina. But I do you know what? Within 10 minutes of watching this movie, I absolutely loved it. It's suitable for all of the family. I did suss out the final twist probably about half an hour into the film, but that's, I'm a writer, I can spot these things. But it's really well done. Sally Field's great. Sally Field is always good value. It's great to see she's still there. And you've also got a load of her contemporaries in the film in supporting roles like Joanne Chen, Kathy Baker, and Cole Meany from Deep Space Nine is there in a supporting role. And as Enzo said, Alfred Molina.
Bill Pullman's son, Lewis Pullman.
Yeah, he's great in it. And Anna's here all the way from Japan.
Good morning.
Have you seen Remarkably Bright Creatures with the octopus? No,
I haven't.
You should.
You're selling it.
I am. I really did enjoy it. So Aaron Charman started watching a bit of it last week. Kit says he's going to give it a watch before they make us have a TV license for streaming. I think that's horseshit because we're already paying.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm going to try and make us do it anyway, unless more people just say no, fuck off. It's got to cause more uproar. That's all we've got to do.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not funding the salaries of all these people. Anyway, we won't go there. Let's not delve into the realm of politics. So this comes with a strong recommendation from me. I'll hold off my rating on it. Who else has seen it? I think a couple of you have seen it, right?
I watched it this morning. It's pretty good. This was one of the weirdest episodes of Deep Space Nine I've ever seen. Why he wanted to be an octopus, why he wanted to experience the life of a Grateful Dead fan and through the lens of an octopus was beyond me. But you know what? The hollow suites have been known to misfunction, and this was a pretty fun story, just about long enough. And the narration could have gone terribly wrong and didn't. So, this was a story of there were a lot of chances taken in this movie, and I'm not going to say they all worked out perfectly, but nothing crashed and burned, so it was solid. And I don't know, this might sound freaking crazy, but you tell me. The tone of the narration as we got it in the movie adapted a faux Tolkienian, but from the era of the Farmer Giles Tolkien, sort of lighthearted, almost C.S. Lewis-like, point of view of this mischievous octopus, which was weird and very World Cup 2010.
That particular blend is not something that I can transmute into tangible fact, but I'll take your word for it.
How about this then? A lot of Shape of Water meets Falling Down.
How
Shape of
far into
Luke-
Shape of Water does it go?
Not as
No,
far.
it doesn't go that far.
Not uncomfortably, but the
There's
end.
no,
Okay.
there's no Japanese tentacle sequences.
Sally Field has sex with an octopus tonight
Let's
on
just say
Netflix.
No.
The octopus has a rather complex personality. He's not sexual, but he is, like very thoughtful. There's like some sort of a bond between the octopus and Sally Field. Sally Field brings everything she has. She makes about one movie a year. Last year's movie, I think it was called 80 for Brady. And she had a lot of other Academy Award winners in it with her. I think the NFL sponsored it. But she still handed in a really, really, really strong performance. And it's at this point, the movie, whatever flaws it had, and there weren't many, it was just a pleasure to watch her do a great job selling this character who had her pain and her quirks. And I like the choices the movie made in illustrating how her pain was shown, because we get to make up our own sort of decisions about how these things went down that unite these characters in this movie. It's very interesting, I thought.
Yeah,
It was sweet too. It was a
it's
sweet
good
movie.
film, and I'll tell you what, Lewis Pullman is turning into a cracking actor as well. I've seen him do about 3 roles now, and he's pretty solid in all of them. So the apple definitely doesn't fall far from the tree. I would love him to come on a chat show and do his dad's Independence Day speech at some point.
I think he
He was the
started
best
on
thing
like
in
a talk
Thunderbolts.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was the
he
best
did
thing in
save that.
Thunderbolts. He really was.
The best thing in Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
he saved
consistently
it.
pretty charming.
He was also the
And
best
I'd second
thing in
that.
the new Avengers.
Okay. There he is with Dad, probably at the premiere, I'm imagining.
And he was a standout in Top Gun Maverick as well.
Yeah,
he
Bob.
was.
He,
I
didn't
liked-
have a huge role, but
No.
everyone kind of loved him. He was really charming.
Yeah, he made him he made his character memorable with the few lines he had and the kind of, sort of I'm shitting myself facial expressions that he gave every so often.
Well,
when
and
he
he was
Hey, what's-
supposed to be like the invisible guy, the guy who the rest don't pay attention to, and yet he, being the invisible guy, really called the attention of the audience.
Yeah.
They play to him, and then he like either reacts or doesn't. But every once in a while, he'll just like drop an observation while shaking his head, and the rest of them are usually ignoring him by them. But they do kind of play to him in Top Gun. This was the best movie I've seen with him, as far as it featured his acting more than any of those other movies, and
Yeah,
he was able to carry an interesting story. This was not anybody's biggest like budget, most exciting action movie, anything but his acting was really solid.
He's the second lead in this, so he really got a chance to show his stuff. Well, for me, this is, I mean, might be a high rating, maybe, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with giving a fun, heartwarming film that makes you feel good and stirs your emotions in the feels a high score. I've got to give this a 9 out of 10. I really loved it, and I'd happily watch it again. Admiral, what's your score for this? And you're muted at the moment, so unmute yourself.
Sorry. For what it was a very sweet movie, good-hearted. I enjoyed watching it. It went very well paced and directed. He was fine. It was never really it doesn't die at any point. So we're going out of 10. I think I'll go with you. It's like an 8. It's an 8 out of 10 for what it wanted to be. It accomplished all its goals, this movie.
Yeah. Okay, fab. Did it? And sorry, Stupenzo or Northern, did either of you see this as well?
Yep. I liked it. Good
go for
Mother's Day watch, obviously. I like the Hallmark movies, so this definitely had Hallmark movie vibes with a CG octopus. It had it reminded me of like Charlotte's Web or, something like that. Just kind of, and I imagine, this is one of the better Netflix originals because it's not original. It's based on a book that apparently is very popular. So, and I liked what was it? The setting. I liked Grateful Dead references. I wish more Grateful Dead music was played in the movie. That would have been funny. Maybe what's his name? God, what's his name? What's his name?
Chief O'Brien.
Chief
Tom Meany?
O'Brien.
Tom-
It'd be cooler if
Tom
Chief. There should have been a scene where Chief O'Brien gave Sally Field some acid, and they had like an awesome date together, and went to like a music
they've
fest.
done it.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
They needed a bigger date scene. That date scene.
oh, and then they go on LSD to the aquarium, and then the octopus touches her like he always does. He grabs her hands, and then he gets like a big contact high. And he starts like really freaking out in his tank.
The idea is the LSD was taken before the cameras were turned on, right? That would explain most of her character's point of view. And that there's probably some LSD in the tank. If the octopus is like hardcore tripping, the only thing I would say is it might have been needlessly melancholy at the end, although the humans fared fairly well without giving much away.
Yeah, it could have. Yeah, it could have had a little bit more humor. I did also like who was it? Joan Chen.
Yeah, she was good in it.
She's so hot
oh my
still.
God, is that Keiko?
She's so hot. It's like her Sally Field and her three elderly Golden Girls style friends, right? And it's the lady from Donnie Darko and some other old lady from Edward Scissorhands, the slutty neighbor, and then Joan Chen from The Hunted, and she looks 30 years younger than the other ladies, even though she's probably older than them somehow. I don't know how. Asian ain't Asian, man. She looked great. I was like, I'd have to put her up there with like Helen Mirren, like oldest lady would. She looked great.
Depends. For a moment before it clicked in who she was, when they were sitting next to each other and flirting, you're like, Miles, this is what destroyed your last character. Stay away from Keiko. And you're like, oh wait, it's not Rosamund now. You have that moment?
No, I recognize her immediately from The Hunted. I was like, oh, whoa, it's her. She looks great.
Yeah, she was really good in this. I mean, because she comes in, she's got that scene sort of on her own with Sally Field, and when I saw her come in, I was like, my God, this is Joan Chen, but she's like barely aged.
No,
yeah,
I know. I think it was a mistake to cast her compared to the other three old ladies.
They did. There was a big contrast.
It was like, okay, so there's three old ladies and their caretaker. Is that who this Asian woman is? Oh wait, no, she's like the head. She's like the head old lady. She's like the B. Arthur type character.
I don't know if they have a picture of her here. We'll have a look. But yeah, she does look amazing in this. That photograph was as soon as I saw that photograph, I knew what was going on. In the movie.
I got to admit, it took me to an hour and 13 minutes into this movie to fully start to close the circle, and I still wasn't completely right. I was like, wait, the ages don't line up. There are a couple of things going on as far as that goes, but
I felt embarrassed that I did not see the twist coming at all, because it was one of those things where it happens. You're like, that's so obvious. How did I not? I guess I wasn't really caring that much.
About 20 minutes out from the end.
There's only one hint about the age gap in the timeline in terms of how old people would have been, so that it matches up. And that hint is right near the beginning of the script, but I remembered it. So then about half an hour in, I was like, oh, how long ago was this? I see what's going on. But they were very clever not to billboard that. So the clue was there, but you had to remember it. And I think that's fine. I like it when films don't tell you too much and you have a discussion about what's been happening. So what is your rating, Enzo, for this?
I'd give it a good 7.5, a good 8. It's a good all accessible, like I said, perfect like Mother's Day watch. It is a little it might be a little too depressing or maybe triggering for some people, or because it does have some heavy subject matter. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was very good. It was a 10 for compared to for a Netflix movie. It was like a 9.5 for most of the crap on Netflix. So yeah,
I'd be interested to know if there was a bidding war over the book. But Netflix have quite.
Did anyone read it?
So,
I feel like the middle part of the book might have been a little darker because, like, when they talk about the accident, it's hinted at that it's very dark. And when we see the accident, key information is black, very artfully, by the way. Key information is omitted. It's on screen, but we can't make it out. It's very well done. I thought that part was quite well done. There's an accident that this movie's plot revolves around, folks. And when we do see it, we see it in a way that preserves both interpretations of what might or what did happen. We don't know, and that's important to the story, but the book might have gone into it darker, so keeping it sort of neutral kept this from becoming a real like dirge. Like in a book it works cinematically. What we got, I thought, was the best we could have hoped for.
Northern, did you watch it? Earth to Northern. He's on the pot. Okay.
It's muted.
He's still got an outhouse, so I have to nip down to the toilet outside. Well, Anna, I imagine that'll be on your list of things to watch.
It will. You've really sold it. I love octopi, love cephalopods, so that enough. And hearing that it's heartwarming is enough to get me to see this.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to move on. One of the other things I want to mention is, of course, is that the film which we covered Mortal Kombat at the very beginning.
I'm the only one who saw it and I didn't like it, so there wasn't like a whole lot of discourse about it, so sorry.
There could be only one.
Anna, have you seen Mortal Kombat 2?
No.
Okay, we'll move on. So I'm gonna Northern, are you back?
Yeah.
Had you seen Remarkably Bright Creatures?
I did not get a chance to watch this. I'm going to try and watch it though, because it does sound very intriguing.
It might be too cheerful for you because I know you like your films to be a bit more grumpy, but I think you might like this one. So
because I like Lewis Pullman. I think he's very underrated, and Sally Field is always good. Why not?
Give it a whirl. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. All right, we're going to as it's my channel. We're going to briefly talk about this. So, All in Good Time dropped on Sunday. This is the movie that was funded by Critical Drinker and, of course, his support base, which was written by Callum Edmonds, a.k.a. Mauler, and they asked me to direct it. I also... I really had two conditions at the start, which was that I got to pick my entire production team and I got to have final say over casting. And it was a great project to work on. It's only a short film, but we had 3 days to film it, which was quite a nice leisurely time to shoot a short. Most shorts are shot in a day, maybe a day and a half, 2 days tops. We had 3 on the schedule. We completed it in 2.5 days. Now on Mauler's channel, it dropped on Sunday at 7 p.m. On Mauler's channel, it's now hit 54,000 views, which is great. Then the making of has been boosted substantially. So you can see the making of on my channel. This is now 3.8 thousand views. I'll just pop that up. We'll just have it on mute while we're talking about this. So and it was a fantastic experience working on this production. It was the first time I got to work with Nick Rowe, who played young Sherlock Holmes in the movie that came out in 85, 86, depending on where you were when it was released. And I'd always wanted to work with him ever since I saw that film. And that film really stayed with me for a variety of reasons that Nick and I got to discuss. And they both gave absolutely outstanding performances when we were doing this film. And we had a ton of fun. This is the location where we shot it. This is Jason arriving on set. The response to it, I have to say, even though I was warned in advance, not that I care, that a ton of trolls would be heading in our direction, the response to it has been absolutely overwhelmingly positive. I don't think Mauler's fan base, even his actual fan base, had particularly high expectations of the project, and most of them had forgotten about it as well, because it was sort of initially greenlit a long time ago last year. So they were quite pleasantly surprised. Had a lot of really nice compliments about the directing, and I've had a good chat with. I've responded to quite a few of the comments. Now, what's really funny is we've already had one channel do a grift review. Now I haven't watched the review, but I did comment underneath it. And I don't know if the guys realised that I'm the director of the film, but I did put underneath it, "Thanks very much for your review," because I don't care what people say about it, because I've learned working in the industry, to be honest, it's best never to watch reviews. The first review that actually was done was from Critic, who's on this panel. And he's not here right now because he's making his way back from Japan. And he got to see it early because he was one of the people that contributed towards the funding of the project. So all those people got to see it. He was the first person to do a review on his channel, which was very nice. Apparently the review's very positive, but I didn't watch it because I don't watch reviews of my work. So, but thank you, Critic for doing that. Again, I'm pleased he did it because it just brings the project to more people, whatever the review says. But I know he didn't do it just as a shill thing. It was more to tell people the film was out there. Now we've also had this guy do a review. Moustached Tom rants about All in Good Time. Now I'm a bit more suspicious of this one, and I'm quite interested to see what content this guy's got on his channel. A short film that accomplishes nothing. Well, mate, it got me out of the house for 3 days, which was very nice. I spent a very nice time in Kent. We had fantastic catering. I got to work with Nick Rowe for the very first time. I got to work with Jason Fleming for the 5th time. I got to give all my key crew 3 days of employment. So I think they would all disagree with you. We felt it accomplished many things for us. I will also say, even if somebody plonked a huge sum of money on a table in front of me and the script was absolute dog shit, I honestly would not be interested in directing it. And I would probably ask for 10 times more the amount of money. And also, can I change the script, please? We didn't really feel, there was a couple of lines that we changed in this script, like 1 or 2 lines, but we really didn't change very much. I think there was a couple of bits we cut out, but there was nothing that really felt like it needed to be rewritten. Jason wanted to shorten some of his lines, and then when Mauler explained to him, actually this line relates to this, and this bit relates to this, and this is why this character says this. He had an answer for absolutely everything. There's no line of dialogue in this film that Mauler hasn't thought about. So Moustache Tom has also reviewed Riley, Lesbian Space Princess, Grave of the Fireflies, and various other things. So you may want to check out his channel and give him a sub. He's only at 294. Let's try and get him up to 300. I don't care if he slags my film off or not. He's a small channel YouTuber. And don't forget, the purpose of this channel is to support other YouTubers, including the small channels. And we give everyone a shout out here. So there you go. Are you going to get me angry? No, you're not, is the simple response to that. So give the man a sub. Yeah, you're very welcome, mate, to come on the channel. Absolutely. Tom, if you get to see this and you want to come on the channel and you want to go through my film with me and talk to me about it and why certain decisions were made, I'll be happy to chat to you and break it down. Commode reviewed it. Not as far as I know. That was 14 years ago, and I think that's a different film with the same title. So
you didn't have to pry 35 pages out of Mauler's hands to get it down to a short film?
No, it was I think the script was
She's
always
joking.
around 20 pages. It was always around.
He's making a Mahler joke. All of his videos are 12 hours long.
But
no. Especially if the script didn't change that much from when you guys got it to when you guys filmed it. That's a really good job, especially for first-time script writing.
It is. It was originally titled On the Farm, but we decided to change that, though.
Oh, yeah. If it's not too much to ask, Lance, apparently you mentioned before there were some issues with location that you guys had to suddenly move to a different filming location, right?
Yeah, so we shot the film in... I mean, we are going to do a proper Q&A on this, so I won't spend too long on it.
Okay.
I know Mauler and I and Will are going to do, I think on Mauler's channel, we're going to do like a chat about, the film and we'll do a Q&A. But I'll mention this story briefly. So the movie was shot near a place called St Nicholas Wade in Kent. And we decided to film it there because I knew that I wanted to get my crew out of London. I didn't want to shoot in a London location because I knew we wouldn't have control over sound. So we had to be out of the city. We had to be out in the sticks. And I had been to Kent, this is Kent, on a number of occasions. And on the way back from one trip to, I think it was to Ramsgate, we fancied a drink, me and my friend Fiona, and we stopped off in this place called Sar. And in Sar, there's the Crown Inn, and the Crown Inn became, I happened to notice it was a hotel, and I was already on my mind looking for locations for this film, and thinking, well, we need a location that's got a cheap hotel nearby. And I said to them, how many rooms you got here? And they said 18. And I was like, so if I was to block book all of the rooms, how much are we looking at per night for 3 nights? And they came back with a figure of about 40 quid a room, I think it was, which is pretty cheap. So I said, thanks very much. I'll be in touch. And that was then the start of, okay, let's look for locations near the Crown Inn. And we ended up with this farm that's down Brook Lane here. And this is where we shot it, in this farm here. And the owners of this farm could not have been more helpful. Now, when we originally, that was the location we ended up with, but we went to look at some others first. And our second consideration was catering. And we want somewhere that there's a local pub nearby, and we'll give the local pub the business. And I don't want to point out where it was, but it's another farm around this area. And there was a really nice pub that did really good food right next door to it. And we were going to give that pub all of the catering business for 3 days. So they were absolutely over the moon. We had a budget for the location. We told the farmer what the budget was. And we said, this is the budget for the location. And at first he seemed to agree. And then he let a week pass, which is what a lot of locations do. And then suddenly that fee was double. No, I need to be here, so you've got to pay $3,000 and all this. And we were like, we don't have money. We've broken down the budget. That this is the budget for the location. So we went and looked for somewhere else, and we found a catering business located literally in Minster, just here. This lady that makes all these amazing trays of cold cuts and sandwiches and stuff. And she came and did the catering for us, and then we did a different local pub near the new location for the evening meals, and we had some of the evening meals in the hotel itself. So it all worked out. But yeah, that was what happened with the farm. The farmer got greedy basically, and he lost out on the business, and not only that, he lost the business out for the pub next door. So there we go. Yes, I have been to Kent. It's all right. Yeah, it's quite nice.
It ended up being a really beautiful location. That barn looks properly dusty and disused. It was probably a bit of a pain to shoot in because it was dusty, but
we were all wearing
looks really good.
Yeah, we were all wearing dust masks by about halfway into the first day. And I didn't want to catch another chest infection. And yes, you spotted it, of course, because we're all big fans of Rebel Moon. So,
obviously.
Had to put a Rebel Moon reference in there. welcome, Lego Man. I don't think I've seen you in here before. 8498. Welcome to the channel. So yeah, so I'm just again really over the moon with the praise for the project, and I'm glad it's done really well on Mauler's channel. And like I say, without him having confidence in me, I wouldn't have been on board to direct it. I'm very grateful to that, and of course Drinker, and there's a funny story with that as well. The day that he called me about the project, which I'll save that story for when we do the Q&A, which as I said, I think it's going to be on Mauler's channel at some point. On the subject of Star Wars, I've got a question to ask the panel. There seems to be, and I don't know how people are getting away with this, but there's this huge number of AI Star Wars kind of things on YouTube. This is one of them. And I think they're created with AI essentially. You know, we've got Luke in them acting and stuff, and I just, how are these not been taken down?
I mean, it just it's interesting because I guess it qualifies as
fan films.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand because you're using likenesses and stuff.
Yeah.
The thing is, I've seen a lot of these, and I'm not impressed about whatever Star Wars story they're trying to tell. I am impressed the fact that this is all 100% computer animated, and it was made in minutes. Like, that's what's crazy about this stuff.
Yeah.
The guy I know who did one got his taken down. That is pretty good.
A little off.
That is pretty
and what
good.
sucks is, like, I think with these kind of videos, I don't think it's a simple copyright claim, copyright block. I think they'll literally like send you a legal cease and desist. Yeah. That's the problem. So it's something like you got to risk it. It's not just like, oh, well, the video will get taken down. You might get sued. So
yeah, Disney doesn't play around.
I mean, they actually are quite cool with like reaction videos with the Wii Watches. Like a lot of the Disney movies, they're fine with, but making fanfic and especially if you're making money, if this channel's monetized, like, dude, they'll have problems
in like the prop recreation sphere, because there are a lot of people who want to do replica props that look exactly like the film ones, and a lot of people will make and sell them without being officially licensed by Disney, and they will come for you if you do that.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I mean, I'm seeing more and more of this stuff now, and don't get me wrong. I mean, there's I've watched a few of these, and I mean, some of them are really good. A lot of them are based on Star Wars books, like the Timothy Zahn stuff. There's some based on some comics of Dark Horse. I think Dark Horse didn't they do Star Wars stuff for a while? I know I've got a load of them in the I've got Rogue Squadron. I've got all the Rogue Squadron comics in the shed somewhere. So that stuff, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. But I mean, the fact that they're using, you know, Mark Hamill's image and he's still around. I mean, okay, it's Mark Hamill kind of pre-bike accident or whatever, but I don't know, man. I mean, if I was one of these actors, or if I was, you know, a relative of Carrie Fisher, for example, I don't know. I'm not sure how I would feel about this, but that's me as a person working in the industry, as a kind of fanboy who's been starved of decent Star Wars content. Some of these are actually great. Some of them are better than some of the things we've had. And when you consider that this stuff is in its infancy, that's the important factor to consider here. What's it going to be like in a couple of years? You know, if that is in a couple of years, it's going to be at a level where you just are not going to be able to tell the difference at all.
You know what? There's a guy I know who tried doing this stuff with the Star Trek characters. Yeah. Now that's Paramount, and they're known to be far more punitive than everyone else, especially with video essays and stuff. But they did get big. They had 4 or 5 viral hits on YouTube in a row. They did Redneck Star Wars with the Florida sort of Redneck Star Trek with the Florida sort of approach to all the Star Trek characters, where you had like Scotty hooking up the Enterprise like it was ready to roll coal and do all sorts of Southern monster truck stuff. So He did that, and he had like 5 or 6 hits in a row, and YouTube eventually struck him, but they didn't give him a likeness reason. They gave him some other thing, but when he was on my show, he said, I'm wondering what's going to happen, because that really is William Shatner's image. That really is, the image of Scott Bakula. Someone has some recourse. So I think what they're doing is, I'm seeing them come up and show some of these great stories, but they are disappearing fairly quickly too. And I don't think people are really going too far. This is very original, but they didn't take it far enough in a direction to be excusable. I don't know if the human hand is the voice acting or if they used AI for that too, like what justifies it as a human-made creation and a legitimate fan creation. Disney, for its part, has every right to take it down, but seems to be only just so interested. It could be because they think they don't want to look bad right before Mandalorian and Grogu doing something punitive to their fans who are few and far, getting thinner. So maybe they let this go until like the middle of the summer, and then they crack down, or maybe this becomes something that they use to source for like, their new effects artists. Because didn't someone upscale Luke from The Mandalorian and get a job out of it because they did such a much better job than the people they hired?
I think I heard something about that. I'm not going to claim that it's true because I don't know the full
I heard it too.
Before we dive into the topic of YouTube and the cancellation of channels, which is actually something I want to talk about today, and I'd like to hear everybody's thoughts on it briefly from each panelist. I will be using my sand timer. Just want to mention a couple of Star Trek related things. So I've got 2 guests coming on, one of whom is a really good studio scale Star Trek model maker, guy called Mark Myers. Here he is, standing on the right, I believe. And these are some of his models. You can see he's also got a sea view from Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. There's a Millennium Falcon there. He built all of these different ships. Got the Jupiter thing from Lost in Space there as well, and he's making a couple more updated Enterprises right now. So I'm going to be bringing him on as a model maker. We've had model makers on before. We also have going on next Wednesday. So I've got a confirmed date and time for Mark yet, but he has agreed to come on next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I am going to be talking to the man behind Axanar, which was the controversial, again, fan film that there was the big legal battle over. Then there was also a legal court case between the director and the producer. He's going to be talking about that quite openly. And one of the people that testified at that court case was none other than Chris Gore, who spoke nonstop for 45 minutes. And that seems quite standard. So that'd be interesting to hear about all of that from someone who was there. But I was always very impressed with Axanar and the whole sort of thought behind it. And I just I've said this before, you're a studio head and you've got an existing IP and you see people out there creating stuff that's as good, if not better quality than some of the stuff you've churned out for that IP. You know what you want to do? You want to give them a job. you want to get them on board. You want to say, yeah, you know what? We're going to buy the rights to this. We're going to pay you to make it. And you're going to go and make us a season and we're going to see how it does. You know what that's called? That's called cultivating talent, because that's what the old Hollywood studios used to do. So I'll be talking about that next Wednesday. I've also got a guest coming on tomorrow. I don't want to forget to plug him as well. I've got independent filmmaker Mark A.C. Jones coming on tomorrow night, also at 8 o'clock. He's an independent filmmaker. He's a producer, actor, kind of someone like myself who's been in the trenches for quite a long time. And he's just done a feature film that we're going to be talking about. As I say, he's trodden a very similar road to myself. He also kind of went down the route of working in theatre, when the medium of film was not immediately available to us indie people before it went digital. So I've got him on tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So do try and tune in, because my indie, you know, everyone tunes in for the Gale-Ann Hurds and the top Hollywood stunt people. Of course they do, because these are people that you've all heard of, and people want to see what they have to say. But my indie guests always get less viewers, and they're really the people that need your support. And don't forget that this channel is all about supporting people exactly like that, like the small YouTuber that we mentioned earlier with his amazing review of our film, who's got 293 subscribers. So this guy made Dead on the Vine, among other films that he's done. It's doing quite well, so he's going to be talking about that tomorrow. So Mark A.C. Brown, I think I called him Mark A.C. Jones earlier, because I've also got somebody called Mark A.C. Jones on my list of potential guests. Very confusing. Yeah, so he's coming on tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So if you can tune in for that, people, we would really appreciate a number of viewers in the chat. And of course, I will always get round to asking questions. This channel is at the scale at the moment where you don't have to put in a super chat. Obviously, we welcome those, but you know, you put in a question. If we've got the time, we'll put it to the guest. So those are all coming up. So yeah, so the last couple of weeks, my Twitter feed has been literally filled non-stop with people decrying their YouTube channel being closed down, the non-human contact with customer resources. Now, this is a big problem with not just YouTube, but everything. Like, I lost my personal Instagram ages ago. There is no direct customer human contact email where I can write to someone to try and get it back. It got hacked. I still don't have it back. Since my iMac went down, I also can't find the password for the Outcast Creative Instagram, so I can't get back into that either at the moment. So at the minute, I'm completely locked out of Instagram through my own befuddlings. But I mean, obviously, I wasn't responsible for getting hacked. Now, I got hacked. Was it last October? Yeah, it was last October. So we're talking a substantial period of time, almost coming up for a year. And I never got anything substantial in a way of a response from them. I filled out the complaint procedures. I'm not dependent on my Instagram for a living. I post on it fairly sparsely. It wasn't the end of the world for me. People on YouTube, however, some of them do depend on it for a living and the content. So I looked at some of the channels of some of the people who've had their channels suspended, and some of them are very, very good, and the content looks original and interesting. Then you have some channels which have 200 videos of someone mowing a lawn. I'm not sure how much that's contributing to society. This is what I want to hear about from my panelists today. You know, should, in the interest of free democracy, YouTube channels that have 2,000 videos of someone mowing different lawns be allowed to stay up, or is this considered to be repetitive, boring content and therefore should be taken down? This is what I'm interested in hearing. I'd like to hear from people in the chat. What do you think about this? Is there justification for taking some down? Now, there were some other channels where the content clearly was all AI produced. And clearly the idea is to tap into the algorithm, produce tons of content, one after the other, and whack it up and make money. And obviously people cottoned onto this pretty quickly with the AI revolution, and YouTube are pushing back against it. I understand that. I'm pretty sure that the lawnmower guy was not AI. I think he just had mown an awful lot of lawns. So I'd love to hear people's thoughts on this. Northern, let's go to you first, mate, because we lost you for a moment earlier.
It's really not to YouTube what is genuine, what is transformative. That's the job.
Have your microphone.
Yeah, dude, you're a bit quiet, mate.
Northern's out mowing his own lawn right now.
Phone close.
Maybe the mic. I don't know. It came out a little bit earlier.
It's a bit tinny.
Might be the camera mic.
Can you adjust?
Similar. Let me go to my audios.
All right. Okay. While you're checking on that, Anna, what are your thoughts?
I absolutely think the ones, of course, it's AI flagging these, like YouTube's algorithm flagging these repetitive content channels. Honestly, I think when it's clear that it's someone producing this content of like lawn mowing, it should absolutely be allowed to stay up. That's YouTube started on people doing weird and strange videos or having very extreme niches, and I love that that kind of niche that you can have. And like, if you decide that mowing tons of different lawns is boring and repetitive content, then next it's going to be coming after people who do fishing videos, for instance, and fishing YouTube's a big thing, or people who do content of dogs doing tricks or whatever else, things that might be considered repetitive, but when it's obviously not the same video, it's not the same lawn or the same pond being fished at, there's, if there's a an audience for it, I think it absolutely should stay up. There's a YouTube channel I follow that's just someone who goes kayaking, and they have their cat sitting on the kayak, and they just kayak through different parts of Germany. And
with the cat, with the cat on the front.
Yes, with the cat just sitting on the kayak.
All
And the
those
cat
camping videos, all those camping videos are.
And I mean, the
repetitive
cat
and fun.
adds to it, but it's the most soothing thing you've ever seen. And just having this person quietly kayak through German wetlands is the most calming thing. And yes, there's absolutely an audience for that. There's probably an audience for the lawn mowing thing. But once again, you were saying earlier about a lot of the AI produced film content, Lance, and something a bit more insidious than what you showed, I think, is recently there's been a trend of a lot of channels, again, trying to get viral hits, producing AI generated, completely false behind the scenes content for films. I've seen some for Titanic, behind the scenes footage that never actually existed, or for the Lord of the Rings. And I know every scrap of Lord of the Rings behind the scene footage that has been released to the public. And so, this is obviously something new, but they're trying to generate people being like, oh, something new came to the surface, and they're passing it off. The fan films that you showed that were made with AI, you can debate to what degree it can be considered original, what degree an artist's hand is in it, but it's not trying to pretend it's part of an original film that was actually shot and filmed and made in the 80s alongside other Star Wars films. But these ones, they'll even put a filter on it. It'll pretend to be behind the scenes footage for filming Titanic. I'm sure there's for Star Wars as well, and that's obvious algorithm baiting. I think that's the kind that needs to be investigated more, but I don't think the YouTube AI algorithm is smart enough to pick up on those channels.
Northern, now your mic is hopefully back. How are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, Anna's pretty much said what I was feeling about this all, because it is basically up to the audience, the people that give YouTube their views, not some bots who's flagging channels and making up its own mind about what's transformative and what's not, because they don't have any of the emotional intelligence the way people do. They're just AI bots, and that's it. And YouTube they should not be having that kind of power on deciding what channel is transformative or repetitive or anything like that. No, it's the job for the audience. It's a job for the viewers, the subscribers, people who support these channels. They decide, not YouTube, not the bloody, not the bureaucrats in YouTube.
Yeah. Well, before I ask the rest of you, because one of the ones that I've seen a lot of videos for, and I'm not picking on this guy's channel in particular, I just want to pick this as a genre, okay? This is quite a trendy genre at the moment where, man goes into forest and builds incredible log cabin or interior bunker with amazing facilities and cooking stove and very tasty looking meat products. And
these are all AI.
Yep.
Yeah, some of these are not AI and some of them are.
No, the real ones, like Primitive Technologies and the Outdoor Boys, like those channels are huge.
Yeah.
So,
but there's definitely now AI ones of these knocking around,
dude. So here's the thing. My whole take on it, and I've been doing a lot of talking about it. I think it's one of those things where, hey, man, if you got an AI channel and you're upset that this is happening to you, you got to blame all the people that really took advantage of the monetized algorithm, because YouTube says, hey, we want shorts and we want AI. And then a bunch of, Indian dudes and a bunch of crypto frat boys made like 50 YouTube channels, and they all started making AI shorts, and they're all monetized, and they're all attached to different IPs and different AdSense accounts. I see a lot of people like saying, hey, I've got 50 monetized channels and I'm selling them. And they just make a bunch of videos. it's a scam, you know. And then you've got hundreds of thousands of YouTubers in India and Bangladesh and all other countries, and all they do is shit out these kind of rapid fire AI shorts and videos. And the thing is, they are low effort because you literally prompt it, let the computer render, and then you prompt another video, and you can make massive amounts of videos. And the problem is, like, if you're making animated, so basically not in camera, so it's either animated AI, that's bad. If it's also fictitious, not just scripted, but fictitious content. So, like, for instance, playing Roblox is fine, but when you're making like little Roblox sketches and all your shorts are Roblox sketches, that's the problem. The other problem is, are you mass producing videos for algorithmic gain? And the other fourth thing is, are you portraying yourself, or are you portraying a persona, or are you a faceless channel? So these are the things that YouTube's cracking on, and it's not because, they want to get between our money. It's because they are paying out way too much every month to all these creators. You see these people share my screen. You see these people that are like saying, "Hey, YouTube has demonetized my channel, and they owe me $15,000, and this isn't right." And then you look at their channel, and it's all Roblox shorts. This is the kind of shit I'm talking about right here. And it's a precursory, just simple image. You just look at their website really quickly.
What's this guy's channel? Is it still...
So check this out. All right, JJ Rich. Of course, his channel's all Roblox, okay? His channel's all Roblox, right? And I'm gonna have to like reshare because I just lost audio. But this is the... So you take one look at his channel, and he's only been making videos for a year. He's got 282,000 subs. His videos are obviously getting tens of thousands of views, you know. So YouTube is probably paying him several grand a month. Okay. Right. So I mean, and you're like, and then his name's JJ Rich. Now this is I'm gonna have to stop sharing, and then I gotta share again. But this is what really outraged me, because I see acquaintances of mine sharing this post on Twitter saying, "Guys, YouTube, look into this. You've made a mistake. YouTube has gone crazy with power. YouTube's a bunch of assholes. Rumble's the revolution." Rumble sucks, okay? Rumble's awful, all right? People who say Rumble's the shit, they are forced to use Rumble. I'm sorry. As a viewer, I don't like watching things on Rumble, okay? I'm sorry. That's a hot
tweet,
take.
by the way, is an AI-generated tweet. You can tell
it gets better.
Ellipses throughout.
It gets better. The M dashes and shit. Here's the video. Here's this guy pleading to himself. What shocked me is, like, it took me 3 seconds to realize this is an AI video of a guy pleading his case. And yet I had friends sharing this. I had friends sharing this like, "YouTube, you've made a mistake."
Hi, guys. It's been 34 days since my channel was demonetized.
And then he keeps covering his face with screenshots, so that way he doesn't need to do big, long takes.
By an automated system. I reached out to support and opened multiple cases, but all I received were generic...
YouTube has rightfully demonetized you, you prick. And the thing is, like I said, maybe this whole inauthentic thing is it's a bad move from YouTube. But like I said, there's too many channels that are getting paid way too much money, and YouTube has to crack down. They are spending too much money on creators that are making shit. They would rather you make 10 videos that get millions of views than make millions of videos that get 10 views, right? Okay? So, I mean, this is simple business. Simple business, all right? Money goes in, money goes out.
I wasn't able to get in touch with a real YouTube representative.
And like I said, this guy, mistake number 4, he's not being himself. This is not who we're actually seeing.
Redirected to a previous case.
And you could say, "Oh, well, maybe this guy just wants to protect his identity," you know. And it's like, yeah, but YouTube should know your identity if they're paying you. The fact that you're giving them fake names and shit.
That's not a real location, is it?
That never got a proper answer.
No. The audacity of this AI-generated automaton complaining that he didn't.
What shocks me is nobody in the
real person.
Dude, nobody in the comments is saying anything about it, or like people are fucking stupid nowadays.
It's become viral in itself. I've been calling it Occupy YouTube for a while, and I want to tread lightly here on Lance's behalf. This is, if I may. Can I just for a second? All right, here's what we've seen for the last 8 or 9 weeks. And I'm not endorsing or validating anything, and I don't know what to believe, and I know as much as the next person who spent about 40 hours trying to come to terms with it to preserve my channel. it seems like there is definitely a random element, and I will not deny there is injustice. I have seen it go both good and bad, one way and the other, both just and unjust. I have seen channels that should be struck that should be demonetized for the AI slop up there doing their thing, and I've seen real creators who have been demonetized. But
Jill's the only one I can think of that is like I can't explain.
Jill and Drunk
I think.
I think.
I think that one of the things that YouTube is very much making a stand on is we should remember something. This is like 4 owners later from the people who started the platform who said, go ahead and video blog your life and we don't care. We think it's great. It's no longer that philosophy. And I do feel that, like, if we stand here and stick our finger out and criticize them too much, it's a lot like complaining in the break room. I do use Rumble, and I agree with what you say about Rumble. They are just a disaster that are stuck in 2018, and they'll never going to get out of it. They'll never get their act together.
If my YouTube channel got deleted, of course I'd go to Rumble, obviously. Like
I do all right when I go there. I try to jump off YouTube because I feel there's the best I can figure your average amount of hang time versus the average amount of time you spend on there. So if people are only watching you for, let's just say 5 minutes, but you're on there for like 5 hours, that to them is like a low entertainment, low density stream. And it doesn't matter if you have a human being with a face on there. And with no specific channel in mind, I can think of people who have done things that, this is the other part that's hard to understand that gets people so angry. Yes, there are AI slop farms being struck down. There's AI that shows a human hand being left up sometimes when they get it right. For some humans that are struck, replicable at scale without effort. If you are on so much that you destroy the idea that you are putting any planning into it and you are having a Truman Show, they will react to that as misuse of their platform because of the price it costs them to store your live streams. And that if you break their back by being on for, say, 30 hours a week, doesn't matter if you're a faceless avatar or a human, they're going to consider that to be some kind of an Occupy YT moment, and they're going to be treated like that. And
so I've always said the one thing I love about YouTube is they let me, why do I love YouTube? Because they let me store literally unlimited to a certain amount, like with seamlessly unlimited amounts of video, like, you know, forever. I can just put video up there and it's there, like, and they don't charge me anything. Like, that's crazy.
You know what I think might be the compromise they want now? They want searchability, unlisting irrelevant things and playlisting them if you believe your fans need them that badly. It seems to be.
Okay, hold on, guys. Let me pause you for a second because Anna's got to head off to work because in Japan it's work time.
Sorry, I'm in the future.
Yeah, she's in the future. So just
sorry, it's already Wednesday here.
Just want to thank her for popping on, even though she's currently in the broom cupboard. But
this is not a broom cupboard. This is a normal sized bedroom in Japan. I'm telling you.
This is the entire flat that we can see. That's the door out to the street behind you, and that's the bedroom in the little cubby hole there on the.
That's where I sleep. No, it's. Anyway, Lance, it's great to see you back up and running again after having such a disastrous computer crash, and really fantastic to see your film doing so well this week. You really need that win with everything that's been going on lately, and I'm so glad to see the response to it.
I got to apologize to my Diamonds in the Sky fans. I know they're out there because I promised book 3 this year. And I did a big post in January about, I'm going to do a little bit of work on the Diamonds in the Sky book 3 every day. And I was getting up and doing a page or two. And it was probably about 3 chapters away from the end. And the whole book's gone. So
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, the whole book's gone. I thought I had it backed up on another stick, but I think actually that stick got cleared and I forgot. When I was a stick short for transferring something. So the Diamonds in the Sky book is gone. The Arnhem game book, which I was also going to release in September, that has also gone. And because the game template was an application that was only on the Mac, I hadn't installed it anywhere else. The PC was too old. The game map with all the information that linked all the pages together has also gone. So I have to reconstruct the entire thing.
So your book, Diamonds in the Sky, was printed though, right?
No. Diamonds in the Sky book 3 has not yet been published.
Oh, book 3. Okay.
I was
sorry.
3/4 of the. Yeah, that's why I hadn't hassled you for a cover yet.
Because any book that's been made already.
Any book, I'm fine with the books that have been made already. I actually found the Rave book file, which I had backed up.
Dude, nowadays you can scan a book and it can, you don't need to retype it out. Like it'll.
I know, but these are book projects which are not published. They were still in the works. The game book was very complicated because it used a specific software that
I lost a really cool student film I made back years ago with a hard drive that just disappeared, and it sucks. Whatever.
So a whole heap of stuff went, and I also had a book called RTA London, which stands for Roaming Terror Attack London, and which had a character in it based on Northern, so I was looking forward to that coming out. That was pretty close to completion. So that was another book I probably would have dropped if not this year, early next year. So they were 3 personal projects of mine that I'd done between them, hundreds of hours of work on, and they've all gone. And then also the notes, 19 interviews I've done for the book for my current client. All of those interviews and all the notes have all gone. So I've got to do them all again. I lost a lot of stuff. I lost almost all my artwork and all my posters and all my photos from the last 16 months, all gone as well. So, and these are not photos I've taken on my phone. These are photos I've accrued from other sources, actually. So, so most of those I'll be able to get back, but they're from multiple sources, and it's just going to take fucking ages.
Yeah, like every time some woman loses her phone, like they're upset about their pictures, the photos they're losing. They're important work documents. That's a man thing. Oh no, my books, my works. Women are like, my fucking photos. No.
I'm really grateful. The only reason I'm here is because everyone was really generous with the GoFundMe. 2 or 3 friends of mine suggested I did it. I was kind of really reluctant. I tried to kind of get my computer replaced behind the scenes, and there wasn't. You were
only gone a week. It's awesome.
You need a machine to be up and running to do anything.
No, I was down 2 weeks.
It's fucking dope.
Yeah, but I
just found out that tonight's AJ show on AJ's channel might not happen because he didn't pay his internet bill, and I'm like, yeah. Anyway, so now
because Anna's got to get off, and then we can continue our discussion on YouTube. But
anyway, sorry to hijack that, but Lance, great to see you again.
Thank you for the call with you and Critic Owl.
Critic Owl is in Japan right now, he and his wife, and so we met up a few days ago in Kyoto, and gave Lance a little call from a scenic street just to prove that it actually did happen.
Yeah, and I've been sent about 40 different species of spiders, photographs of them, not the actual spiders, thankfully. So that's been fun. All right, okay, cool. Thanks, Anna. We'll let you go.
Anyway, cheers. Have a great evening over there.
We'll speak to you later. All right, take care. Bye.
Have a good one.
So Northern, did you want to say anything else on the YouTube thing?
No, not really. No, I think I voiced everything I needed to say.
I just wanted to see if you had a pick that you wanted to talk about tonight as well.
Oh yeah. Currently rewatching Fetty Rock again. Tina Fey and Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, that's a show that I never got into back in the day. Tina Fey, right?
Yeah, the first series is pretty good, but to be honest, it's when it gets to the second and fifth series when it's at its best, and it starts to go down a little bit in season 6 and 7. But it's a really good, very good satirical show that kind of takes the Mickey out of television itself, and you kind of got Liz Lemon, who's this very sort of like a liberal feminist woman, and she's got this boss, Jack Donaghy, played by Alex Baldwin, who's this.
Yeah, he's so funny.
Or Donaghy, because because it revealed that it's from his other relatives, the name's pronounced different, but he's like this proper.
Is it all employees working on a TV station? Is that the premise?
Yeah, he becomes the new boss of the TV station
NBC.
and everything, and yeah.
Specific show, right? They're working on one specific late night show, right?
Yeah,
Is it got a bit of sort of broadcast news vibe?
No, it's mostly the runner show. That's basically like an SNL show. It was first called the Daily Show, but then they bring Tracy Jordan, who's like this, who used to be this big comedy star, but now he's just totally fucking nuts, and he's doing all these terrible movies like Who Dat Grandma and Ninja Homeboy and all that, and he kind of ends up being the star, and Liz Lemon has kind of got to put up with her slacker writers who are idiots. Jack Donaghy was kind of becomes a friend, but at the same time a little bit of a rival due to the conflicting political ideals. And Jordan, who's nuts. Who's just very eccentric. He's very egotistical. He's just crazy. He's everything. But and you've got Kenneth the Page, played by Jack McBriar, who's really kind of innocent, but he's also kind of showing hints that he could be immortal. I mean, there's very subtle hints throughout the show, and you do get a very good reveal on the very last episode. It is very satirical. It becomes a little bit more mean-spirited, and also we got Jenna Maroney as well, who's kind of this aging actress who's never really made it big, and right now she's stuck in the only thing that she can do, and she's kind of nuts. She's always lying about her age, everything. You know, she's willing to sleep with anyone who'll give her a role. It's like the characters are kind of shitty people, but they're very funny shitty people with flaws, and they feel very fleshed out, and everyone's just got some great whip smart dialogue, you know, just to sort of bounce off of, and some great storylines, everything. It's and Alec Baldwin, he is fucking hilarious in this. He is so downright funny. He's kind of an asshole. It's even revealed that he's got his sofa is made out of sea biscuit. I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a very dark joke there. But,
yeah.
But you got great guest stars as well from Steve.
Yeah, Carrie Fisher, man.
Yeah, she's very funny in this as well. She's like this.
Does this show have a laugh track?
Loads are on there. Loads are on there.
Does it have a
laugh track?
No laugh track.
No.
Good. I can't do shows with laughter tracks anymore.
There's no laugh track and no audience, right? There's an absence of anything. There's incidental music, if anything, correct?
Yeah, I can't do the live studio audience laughter thing anymore. It's just
no, it's
work for friends.
I can handle live. I can't handle the fake laughter.
Yeah, I mean, there's only really 2 episodes where they have the studio audience, and that is on like the 100th anniversary episode, but it only happens twice, and it's actually still done pretty well. And but once again, the cameos are really great as well. Matt Damon is hilarious in this as well. He's kind of like he's basically playing this pal who becomes Liz Lemon's boyfriend, but he keeps breaking down crying, and to the point where she stops caring and even tries to sneak him food while he's crying. And she even says that, I had to spoon him for 9 hours till he stopped crying. I was the big spoon.
I was the big spoon.
Yeah,
there was a definition between big spoon and
fast-paced as well. I mean, it never lets up. It's like it's very farcical, everything, but it's hard to really put into words because there's so much going on in the episodes, and there's so many great, colorful characters and so many great one-liners, everything, and I can't even repeat some of the best lines as well because there's so many. I can't really think of any off the top of my head. But okay, there is one good line where it goes, the Italians have a saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. They haven't mass-produced a decent car or won a war, but in this, they're right. So
I got. Do you know what? I have to watch this. I don't know why I didn't watch it at the time, but it's a plethora of guest stars in this, isn't it? It's a huge. Because
I love the line about the Italians. It's great. As an Italian American, I endorse that. It's so true.
Yeah, Alec Baldwin, he does get some really good one-liners.
I love the Alec Baldwin gif of the eternal pouring whiskey in the glass from the show, and there's a lot of great memes, and it's what I haven't seen the show, so I've only seen clips and highlights and memes of it, and it all seems pretty funny.
Yeah, have you seen the clip with him and Tracy Jordan where they're having this therapy session and Tracy's like, "Hey, could you do me?" It's like, "I don't know where I am. Dynamite."
No.
So, all three of you have seen this. So all three of you can give it a rating out of 10. How does it hold up today? Is it,
I said I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't?
I've only seen the memes and shit.
Oh, you've only seen the
seen
memes.
about
Okay,
40
so
episodes.
Admiral Teague and Northern, you've both seen it.
Yeah, what are there? About 350 episodes. I've seen about 40 or 50 of them, a representative slice of the show.
Right.
It's a funny show most of the time. I've seen it whiff completely too for a whole episode, but most of the time, most of it is pretty darn funny. The woman can write some good jokes. It's pretty self-aware, and it's an enjoyable show. As far as holding up, I think Alec Baldwin is now, his controversies are far enough in the past that the show is going to start to rebound a little because it is a good show. And I think that there are a lot of good episodes. So look for it to maybe rebound a little. I don't know if it'll save his image, but he won't be hurting it as much anymore. So we'll get a fresh look at it soon. That's my feeling on it.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned Alec Baldwin as well, because he's a proper staunch liberal, but in here he's a very staunch Republican. But he still plays him as
with
human.
Nick Offerman.
Yeah,
He's
still
great
plays him as
in
human,
War.
though. That's the thing. He doesn't try to paint him as a two-dimensional Republican capitalist asshole. He is, but he's still very likable and very charming, and he does manage to be a very good. He has this very good relationship with Liz Lemon, despite their differences.
You know what it was reminiscent of? William Shatner in Boston Legal as the as the crazy, political head of the law firm, and he had his views, but he was shown as human too. But he was funny, it was the same kind of character.
Okay. Well, rating out of 10?
I give it a good 10. I give it a 10. Even when
10?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm definitely going to watch it. I just, it was kind of on my radar, but I don't know why I never. I guess it was a show that wasn't on
Netflix
regularly, and didn't have a regular spot when we were on the terrestrial TV in terms of a spot that worked for me. I do remember it being on, and I think by the time I became aware of it, was like 2 or 3 seasons in. And but it's a half-hour show, isn't it? It's 30 minutes, right?
Yeah. Once again, it's very half-hour. It's easy. You can binge through it pretty quickly, even though it's like 7 seasons.
Might be a good thing for me to a good show to sort of stick on and watch before bedtime.
It's engaging, and they can keep the humor going on 2 levels at the same time through most of the show. They're good at that. Like it's a well-crafted comedy show.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will check that out. Maybe Stupenzo and I will do a marathon of all 450 episodes, and we'll that'll be one of your stay up for 36-hour jobs.
No, it'd be one of those things where I just slowly chip it away for like half a year.
Yeah.
You know what I watched the other day that was pretty good? It's on YouTube. It's older, 1957 movie. It's about journalism or corruption in journalism. It's a film noir with Tony Curtis, and it has some of the best dialogue I've ever heard. It's called The Sweet Smell of Success. That was a good one. I watched that randomly. Yeah, Movie-Wise did a video talking about this well-written scene. And, I was like, well, I'll check out the movie because it's on YouTube. And, it was a solid flick.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Basically,
he is.
Yes,
he's
movie-wise,
he's really good at analyzing everything. I love what he said about.
He's really good
I love what he
at
said about sloth as well. Every time a character sits down to talk, another one stands up and starts walking around the room just to sort of keep things interesting.
He's really good at analyzing direction and blocking and all that good stuff. And screenwriting. I also love Rob Ager, he's really good at discussing the themes and psychology aspects of movies and characters, and I like all that deep stuff. But yeah, The Sweet Smell of Success was it Tony Curtis and Burt Lancaster. Burt Lancaster plays this infamous newspaper columnist, and he can make or break your career with a single newspaper article, in his column. And Tony Curtis is the guy who helps him get story leads, and he's doing anything to get a lead in published in a paper, and he's kind of a slimy guy. This is obviously, was 70 years ago when news media operated a little differently. But yeah, Tony Curtis, he like idolizes Burt Lancaster, who's this like really, really vicious guy. And they've got this kind of back deal where he's got the Burt Lancaster has this weird like almost like Tony Montana kind of relationship with his sister, and his sister is dating this musician, and her brother doesn't want anything about that, so he's telling Tony Curtis to break up this relationship, and also Tony Curtis wants some of his stories published, and it's a lot of scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type things. But the big sellout, the big selling point for the movie is all the awesome dialogue, the great lines. What does Burt Lancaster says to Tony Curtis is like, you're like, oh, I like to take a bite out of you. You're like a cookie full of arsenic. Just like great lines, like constantly, like real rapid fire. Yeah, like you need to watch it with subtitles probably. But yeah, I would.
Rating
the greatest. Yeah, Paul Smith says it's one of the greatest movies of all time. Yeah, it's a solid 9.5. It's a 10 maybe. It's one of those movies that like you watch it, and you realize like, oh yeah, a lot of people have been talking about this movie. Yeah, and the thing that's cool about Tony Curtis is it was like he was people were weirded out because he went from playing like handsome leading man type characters. So this one he's like a kind of shady subordinate.
Yeah.
And it really works in this movie. And he's great. And the two of them together are dynamite. And yeah, and it's got this great like, late 50s, early 60s kind of, jazz, what's the word I'm looking for? The poetry shit, what's it called? Beatnik, kind of beatnik vibe, like early beatnik kind of film noir. Like it's a bunch of squares and suits, but they're all talking the jive, It's great. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, one of the greatest movies of all time for sure.
I have seen it, but God, it was a long time ago. So you know what? I'm going to rewatch that. Thank you very much for the recommendation. Is that a solid 9 out of 10, that one?
Yeah, I said 9.5 even. It's good.
Okay. We'll mention this briefly. It's the final season. I've seen, I don't know if the final episode dropped. The last episode, I saw half of it. Now, what I'll say about this season of The Boys is, so far, I've fallen asleep watching it 4 times. And that never would have happened in season 1. Now, to be fair to it, I've been working hard, playing catch up on everything that to do with the computer and all the things I've lost and trying to find files and recreate folders and all of that stuff. So I'm going to bed pretty knackered after quite a stressful day. And I'm looking for something to watch, and I'll put this on. And then often I find that I've fallen asleep and I wake up and there's something completely different because, Amazon will just select you the next thing and just put it on. And might ask you in 5 hours' time if you're still awake or whatever. So I'll be waking up and there'll be a completely different movie on. And I'm like, what the fuck happened to The Boys? So I go back and I realized I've slept through 2.5 episodes, so I have to watch it again. And then I go back and rewatch the episode I fell asleep on from the beginning, nearly make it to the end, but then fall asleep again. So it's not been great at keeping me captivated. I think one of the big problems with this story, unlike the graphic novel, which, by the way, is so good, I've got the entire series, it's fantastic, is I just don't give a shit about anybody in this show. It's more fun watching the evil people do stuff than the people that are supposed to be the heroes. And the main character, who's the kid, I don't know, with him, he's just not working for me in the show. Like the actor, I think he's doing a good performance, but the scripting for him and his arc, he's just coming off as a whingy, annoying brat, really. And I just don't care about him, and that's a big problem. I just think this adaptation for me has been a bit of a massive disappointment. It's done some things really well, and I do like Anthony Starr in it. He's having the time of his life playing this role, but I just don't think that they nailed it anywhere near as well as they could have done. When you have Herogasm in this series, it's basically a swingers party in a posh house. In the comic, in the graphic novel, Herogasm is on a private island where all the superheroes from all the world come up with a world threat, and they actually construct this fake robot weapon that's coming to Earth, and they say that the only way to stop it is for them all to team up, villains and heroes, and they're going to fly out into outer space and they're going to defeat this thing. So they're going to be away for a week, and they come up with this whole story, and that's why they do it every year, and that's why they go to Herogasm on this island where there's loads of prostitutes that are having to snort Compound V in order to put up with their vigorous demands that you can imagine, some of which are visualized in the show. And then they have the equivalent of the Herogasm Oscars, where he wins Best Hero every year. It's brilliant stuff in the comic that would have been fantastically and easily realized with the current level of special effects, and instead we get a superhero swingers party in a house, which is really naff. So I just think.
Did we see boobs in this show?
I think there was definitely some nudity in that scene.
Boobs, specifically boobs. I find out that modern shows will show gratuitous violence and language and penises, but they won't show naked women that are sexy. I don't know what is the problem. It's annoying.
I don't know. I just think it was, this was a big disappointment for me. And they did a lot of stuff with it that didn't even happen in the comic as well. And it's, I don't know, just thought it so. Even though I've not quite at the end, I think overall this show for me kind of rates a 5 out of 10. It's some episodes and some seasons rate much higher than that, but overall for me, it's just I sense a lot of meddling going on with this show behind the scenes in terms of the direction and the tone and the writing. I sense a lot of cooks stirring the pot. So. Who else has been watching it? Anyone? Is it just me?
Yeah, I stopped watching it after the third season. I mean, it just felt like after the first one was so kind of balanced with who it would mock, it just felt like it was like a friendly jab at the left, but a very big hard one on the right, instead of just being a very balanced show. But that said, Homelander was awesome. Soldier Boy was awesome. Butcher
he was good. Really liked him.
But that's it. I don't care about Dennis Quaid's kid in this show as well, because he just continued to be a whiny little pussy all the time.
Yeah, I know. And his character has a much better arc than that in the actual graphic novel. It just sort of, doesn't really work. That's a shame because they spent a lot of money on it, and there is a lot of talent. There's some great production design, some nice visual effects. There's some really good things about it. And there's some really good acting in it. It just isn't. It just isn't. I don't know. Overall, it's just not a good adaptation, which is a shame. Has anybody got anything they want to? We're almost out of time. Has anybody got anything they want to plug, like real quick? Just a couple of minutes on it, whatever it may be. Anyone?
Subscribe to my channel and watch my Miami Vice video where we talk about a show that you can see me in Northern review every Sunday. You should check out his channel too.
Obviously, yeah. Northern does live stream most Fridays, Friday nights, and some Sundays.
We're having a blast doing that. So I recommend that to everyone looking for something to listen to.
Excellent.
Recommended you get drunk first, of course.
Of course.
You know what? When I put Admiral Teague podcast into YouTube, just as a search, the first thing that comes up is the Club 520 podcast with 836,000 subscribers, which I'm guessing is not your channel because I've been on there before. And,
no, that's not mine, but I can put it in the private chat for you. I have it ready to go. I had a feeling that would be a problem.
Get in there, bud.
I don't know why there's that weird Admiral Teague thing coming up, but usually I come up first. It's spelled American style, no UE.
If you want to post, it, just put a comment in the actual chat on the actual stream.
Yeah,
mate.
okay.
I'm going to make you a
Sure.
moderator so you can post it yourself directly next time.
Okay, I'll say hi, and you can make me a mod right now.
Yeah. Do that. Do that.
It says I have to agree to the rules of your community. Fuck that.
Stupenzo's already put a link up for your channel there. Well done, sir. Nice.
Thank you so much. That's very appreciated, Stupenzo. So there's my comment. If you want,
I keep forgetting how much you look like Pierce Brosnan. I forget that. That's something I should remember.
It was a fit. We're both Irish to a degree.
Yeah. Okay. So I've added you as a standard moderator. There you go.
I will abuse that power because I'm also part Spanish and we like to oppress people. So everybody better get to work, or
don't abuse that power, otherwise you'll find that will be restricted fairly quickly.
Indiana Jones of mods over here. No, I'm only kidding. But thank you so much.
That's funny. Somebody
I found a way to say it without using any pejoratives or unfriendly terms to the platform.
Yeah.
I love our corporate overlords. I'll never say anything bad about them on your channel or mine.
Northern, did you want to plug anything else? Although Admiral Teague's already done it for you.
Yeah. Cheers for that, Admiral Teague. I will be doing Big Trouble in Little China on Friday.
Oh, you're doing Big Trouble this Friday?
Yeah. Toxic is doing it, and Inside Man. I think we can fit in another couple more people. I think RT wants to jump on as well.
Mate, I might. I don't know. I might have an industry interview this Friday. Actually, I'm just waiting for confirmation. I might have Ryan Brover, trance DJ, coming in. And just to remind everybody, I've got an industry interview with Mark AC Peters tomorrow at 8 p.m. Talking about acting and his latest film and so on. And the stream is already up, so you can check all the information out on my channel. If I am free, mate, I'd love to come to that because I was at the opening night of it at the Odeon West End, Leicester Square.
I'll send you the link. I mean, if anyone wants to jump on, I'm sure I've got room for one more.
Try because I absolutely love that film and I know everything about it behind the scenes wise as well. So I personally think it's I think it's John Carpenter's greatest movie.
It's definitely one of his more batshit movies as well because there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that happens, but it doesn't make sense. But you don't care. You're just having fun with it. You're just having fun with the madness.
It works. It sets the tone up quite quickly, and if you understand the tone of the film, it works.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it never lets up. It just keeps going as well. Even when it slows down to dump a little bit of exposition, it keeps going. I think
that and the thing are his two greatest films.
That notwithstanding, on behalf of all Americans, thank you for pronouncing Leicester Square so we know how to say it. We've seen it written out so many times, and I think everyone, when we talk about it, we say Leicester to each other.
Yeah, that's right. I've actually had Americans say that in front of me on the tube, and I've said, "Hey, let me just tell you how to say that. It's actually Leicester Square."
I really appreciate that. I love hanging out with my Euro friends and getting to broaden my horizons because for years, you read books about the Clash and all these other great musicians, and they'd go in there to see movies too. And finally, someone says it, and I'm like, "My God, what is he talking about?" It's like, "Oh, he means Leicester Square. I wonder if he knows they're the same thing." And it registers in your head because you're an American idiot.
So also for my American friends, before we say goodnight, and I will stay on for a quick chat, guys, if any of you want to hang around. But before that, I just want to plug stand-up comedian friend who is currently going to be touring the UK. They've just finished a tour of the UK. They're going to be touring the USA. So this is from my American subscribers. If you haven't seen her clips on YouTube, check them out. She is razor sharp funny. She also takes the piss out of the British quite a lot. So you of course, as Americans, you'll love that. But this girl is wicked funny. She's got a really funny story. Well, she's got a bit of a sad story about how she became a stand-up comedian, but it's a real nice triumph over tragedy story, and she is fantastic. Check her out.
Makes sense. It does make sense. Well, comedy comes from misery. I mean,
Yeah, and she's really good. She's got a great character. You're right. Comedy often comes from tragedy. She's got a great character. She just watch a couple of her clips. I'll put the link in the chat there. Check her out. Very funny. I'm going to try and get her on for an interview at some point if I can. But I think she's on the rise. She's going to get big really quick. She's coming up to 100,000 subs now. Trust me, by the end of this year, that's going to be way, way, way higher than that. Good to see Anti-Derivative Jill is in the chat. We love Anti-Derivative Jill. We were talking about you on the channel earlier tonight, just reminding everybody that your channel is real and that YouTube should not suspend it under any circumstances. So, and it'd be great to have you on the Nielsen ratings one time, Jill, if you can ever manage to be available at the right time. No worries otherwise. Thanks to Stupenzo, my regular co-host. I've got a massive list of thumbnails I need from you, Stupenzo. Okay, good. I'll get right on that. Okay, good. Fantastic. So thanks to Admiral Teague and Northern English Bastard as well for joining me, and of course Anna for popping in. Really appreciate you. It's always great to have a jolly upbeat panel here. And I'm gonna sign out now, but we'll be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with my industry interview, and maybe on Friday there might be one at 8 o'clock as well. I'm trying to catch up because I want to hit 200 before the end of the year. Until then.
Misfits and dreamers getting innovative. It's film, TV, and theater in the mix. Industry interviews where ideas get their fix. He's creative, we're creative. How about you? Share your passion, join the crew. At Outcast, creative, we're breaking through. Hang with Lance and the Outcast crew. Hang with Lance and the Outcast crew. Interviews with fellow artists on the rise, and reviews that might surprise. Films, TV shows from back in the day. You might just find a hidden gem today. He's creative, we're creative. How about you? Share your passion, join the crew. At Outcast, creative, we're breaking through. Hang with Lance and the Outcast crew. Hang with Lance and the Outcast crew. Filmmakers, comic book creators, stand up proud. Actors, musicians, board game designers, be loud. At Outcast Creative, amazing's the word. He even interviewed the legend.